Alright, are we good here? Ah, okay, it's a little off, but hey, I couldn't tell until it was on screen, so I'm doing my best here. You know what? It's text, it's visible, that's all that matters, honestly. Oh well. Hello, welcome in! Everybody, hello Johnny Virgil, hello Welp, hello Weston Fox, hello Vessa, hello Janu, hello Calebux, hello Raul, hello Aegis, hello Cerulean, hello Sim0, hello White Zengetsu, I'm sure you're excited today. Hello Babylon, hello Arknight, hello Stockler, hello Trion. Hello, welcome in, hello Catch, hello Bushmaster. Happy New Year, hello Bloodsuli, and Yukiya, hello, welcome in, Happy New Year. How are you doing, Yukiya? It's been a while. Hello, Stockler. Haven't seen you since 2025. I know, right? It's been forever. First Scuff stream. This was not intentional. This was not my fault either, okay? StreamerBot is down for every streamer right now. This is not my fault. This is not my fault. But Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Sengetsu, I'll pin this because I still think it's funny. Oh? Babylon. Thank you very much for being, for continuing your membership. Thank you. 6 years. Happy New Year. Poor StreamerBot. StreamerBot's, like, dying right now. If StreamerBot is down, it doesn't count as Starlight Scuff. Exactly, yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Been a year? I'm sorry to hear that, Yukiya. I hope it's, I hope you're doing all right, though. Are you excited for the new year? Are you excited for, like, different ideas, different challenges? Do you have any resolutions or anything that you're doing? How do you feel about the fact Roma's birthday will fall on a stream day? Did you calculate that? Oh, dear. StreamerBot decided it needed a day off. It's like, I'm done. I need a vacation too, guys. I'm glad you're doing good, Yukiya. I'm glad you're doing good. I hope that you have a good start to the year. You fell on a stream day last year also. What are the chances of that? Why does that end up happening? You see, the thing is though, it fell on a stream day last time, but Raul was like not as intensely connected with the community. Now he can bully me this year. You gonna hit the hay, but have stream going? Glad to catch the stream today. Alright, Trion, thank you very much. I hope you feel better. I hope you have a good day. Good rest. Hello, Vine Fox. Welcome in. Same goes for Vivi. July 21st is a Tuesday. Wait, that's different though, because there's stream day gameplay and then there's stream day art day. That's a little different. What do I do on that? What do I do in that situation? What do I do if it's not an art day, but it's a, you know, I stream like half the week, so you guys get like a 50-50 chance for your favorite operators. Nothing to bully about. You read the op rec already. You've already drawn the Aroma Gazer. True. Yes, thank you. That is a good point. Roma's birthday falls on a Saturday this year, so they're both still gameplay stuff then. I don't know what to do with gameplay when it's an operator's birthday. I didn't even think about that. I'll have to consider that in the future. Like, is there anything I don't know. Is there anything like quick and easy? I don't know. Aside from just like trying to maybe use them in stages if possible, but on Aroma's birthday, we time out Raul for 24 hours in celebration. Discord and stream. Paradox simulation. It doesn't always mean I can access it, though. I think I've only accessed 4 paradoxes so far? Arcu, hello. Welcome in. Alright. I have had delay, so let me not delay further. Let me not mess things up. I'm gonna have to fix chat again. But let's move here. There we go. Okay, that's not bad. This is still the same setup that I've had in the past, so that's not bad. I just have to rearrange some things, make it so it's easier to see everything. Okie doke. That's not bad. That works. That works, I think. Alright.
Bushmaster just supported the Prismatic Fox for 20. Happy New Year, Starlight in chat. Let's have an excellent year together.
Bushmaster, thank you very much for the coffee. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, let's have an excellent year. I'm really excited for this year, to be honest. Because I want to do so many more art-related things. I know most people who found me through Arknights are mainly there for gameplay, but I have always been art-focused, and I really want to push the art side of things. And give some love to some of your favorite operators that don't get enough love, you know? Guess who has it unlocked? I mean, fair, yeah. Pair of Soxies. Play a train game for Aroma Day? I don't... Alright, let me think for a sec. I am going to attempt to draw Chongyue at least. Let me just try to sketch every operator that we are doing today, and then I'll try to like add a little bit more detail for Chongyue because it is birthday. And I want to see if I can do something that would be like, I don't know, a good wallpaper or a nice sketch, something that's like in a nice format. I'll see how it goes. So I laid out a 1920 by 1080. So at the very least, it will make a nice time lapse. Let me make sure I have time lapse recording on either way. There we go. So let me think here. And I apologize in advance. I don't normally get a chance to draw guys, so I am going to do my best, but it might be a little scuffed just because I don't normally draw guys. And I also did not have a lot of time to practice. I wanted to practice more off stream and I didn't really get a chance to, which is why I said I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do this off stream or not. Because I really wasn't sure which way I wanted to go with things. So I will do my best here. No picky eater, I'll be happy with anything. Fair enough, fair enough. I don't normally get a chance to draw guys, and I should draw more Arknights guys because it's a great way to get more practice in, frankly. But, I mean, to be fair, I need to... bleh. I need to improve on the sketching side in general, I think. I need to be able to draw more confidently for sketching. Let me see here. Let me try to block out where his hairlines is here. We both have the curtain bangs a bit, don't we? I'm sort of going back here. I'm trying to break down the shape right now, more or less. Alright. Let me zoom in here. Actually, wait, let me copy this whole full body reference and then make it larger so I can actually see the official art a little bit better. These go pretty high. And then his horns are kind of in the back, right? His horns kind of are in the back and then come forward, from what I can tell. Sorry to make 2026 the year of male knights drawings. I want 2026 to be the year of Arknights art and craft content. That is really, I think, my main goal. And also, like, intersperse that with Hallucinari and such. Hang on, I'm trying to understand his horn shape a little bit better here. Let me move this downward. It's kind of... okay, that's a little bit better. It looks really rough now, because I'm just trying to establish the general shape, and then I'll, like, refine it and clean it up and everything. Wasn't 2025 kind of that too? Not really. I mean, 2025 was more like, where the heck am I? What happened? Who are you people? And then it was a lot of master studies. but I want to do more beyond master studies. And I'm trying to figure out the direction of these horns. They kind of go upwards a little bit more. Okay. I'm trying to get a better sense of the angle here. And there's 2 parts on the horns? Okay. Oh, shush. I'm trying to get the angle right for this piece here. And then make sure that the ears are also showing a little bit. Make sure it's placed correctly, too. And then make this much stronger chin design. I'm, like, rapidly trying to go for through the references here. 2025 was the year of you are an Arknights content creator, do not resist. That is absolutely true, I think. That is, yeah. 2025 was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I barely understand what's happening right now. And basically being told, well, keep going. Whatever you do, just keep going with it. And then this year, I'm like, okay, I've sort of, like, understood a little bit more, I've sort of established a little bit more, and now let me put more of my own twist on it. And I don't know, you know, it still could be a bad idea. It's kind of hard to tell still. But I want to at least attempt. I think the part that freaks me out is the whole overlap with everyone's gonna be much more focused on the Enfield stuff, and I don't really know where I'm gonna land at that point. So I sort of have to keep my options open, you know? What am I even saying right now? I hope any of that makes sense at all. I'm trying to see if this is, like, correct for the plane of where the head is. Maybe this needs to be a little bit more forward. I'm trying to see, does the second... Okay, wait, there's... This reference is a little bit easier to see, I think. Make this go back a little bit more. It's crazy, it's already been more than half a year, it is crazy, yeah. I know I still have to make a video about that. I need to script it. You said in your bulletin you wanted to do more modeling, right? What would that entail? Like haptic modeling or more digital like Blender? What is haptic? Does that just mean like physically? Traditional? Okay, wait. I think I see where I'm going wrong. It is in the back, but it's on the back with, like, each side. So this needs a little bit of follow-through in the hair. And showing a little bit more behind as well. Which makes this a little bit... Oh my gosh. Okay, this is annoying. Please go away. Oh my gosh, please. Go away. I'm not having a good time on the technical end of things. There's something happened weirdly with my shortcut tools, and I don't know what it is, but now all of a sudden, there's some shortcut that got set to opening other programs, and I don't know why or how, and it's been happening for, like, maybe the past week or so, and I've tried finding a way to turn it off, and now it's happening in stream, and it's not good. Let me try to figure out where things are here. Okay, are these horns sideways, or do they kind of, meet in the center? I guess they kind of meet in the center a little? Because if that's the case, then this can't be right. I should be able to turn this in my head better. Alright. I think that's right. Does that look right? It gets to the point where you almost want to just sculpt it out. Go into the settings for the new program. The shortcut opens. Find the shortcut settings for it and delete it. Go into the settings for the new program. The shortcut opens. Find the shortcut settings for it and delete it. So the problem is, I think it's just one key that is opening any program, and I can't figure out which key it is. Because I tried looking it up, I was like, is it like Control-Alt opens a program? Is it Control-Shift? Is it like Alt-Z? Is it... Like, I can't figure out what's causing the issue, and I tried looking up what keyboard command causes programs to open, and I could not get a clear answer for the life of me. So if anyone's really techie and happens to know if there's like a universal program opening shortcut that I'm accidentally activating, I'd love to hear it. Have you tried mashing buttons until it happens and slowly narrowing it down? I have tried that, and for some reason, when I try mashing the buttons, it never opens another program, so I don't know what it's causing. I thought maybe it was sticky keys. I tried pressing Shift 5 times. It wasn't sticky keys. I tried going into settings. I tried going into accessibility settings. It still wasn't working. I don't know what it is. So I've been pressing a bunch of shortcut keys this whole stream, and so far, within 10 minutes, it's opened 2 programs, and I don't know which it is. I don't know what's causing it to do this. What program is getting opened? Your cheap program for infinite V-Bucks. It's opening any program. It's like cycling through them, I think? It opened Shoost a minute ago, and before it was opening, Audacity, which is a music program. Audio editing. So I don't know what's causing it. It's just random, yeah. It sounds confusing, never had that happen before. I haven't either! This is new! It's all of a sudden behaving terribly for some weird reason, and I can't figure out why. Alright, I think that's probably accurate to the horns. So I'll just hide the awkward breaks with hair, I think. It'll probably be the easiest way to do it. If it helps, posted some Chon official art in Celestial. Okay, I do have some references, I just don't think I have good ones. Oh, that actually does help a lot. Thank you. That actually helps a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, they do go inward. And then on this, okay. The E2 is probably the most helpful here. Thank you very much. Okay, that's so much clearer. Thank you. Oh, and they're also not smooth. They're very textured as well. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That helps a lot. And then... Okay, it's not quite the same angle. So the angle for the E2 is more... Okay. It should just be the same, it should just be less angled. And then it should look like they're coming together. A little bit closer. That helps so much, thank you! And I see that these are further behind, and I didn't make the back of the skull go far enough. That makes more sense, too. That makes so much more sense. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's probably gonna be slightly in front here. There we go. Probably a little bit smaller. It's going backward. Okay. Hello, hello, Daho. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, you're not gonna get StreamerBot to behave again because, it's down for everybody, not just me. This was not a Starlight scuff issue. This is a StreamerBot was tired and wanted a vacation issue. So this one is, out of your control. Sorry to say. Okay, that looks much better. Whew. That looks much, much better. Aerotech, thank you very much for continuing your membership. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. THLPH, by the way, how many accounts do you have? I can't keep up. I cannot keep up with all the different accounts you have. I do recognize the emoji, though. I cannot keep up. Can anyone else keep up? Because I can't. Alright, main thing now is I'm trying to make sure the proportions are correct. So his head should be larger than his horns. I might have to change the direction because I'm relying a lot on the official art here. HS, thank you for continuing your membership. Thank you, thank you. 2026 do be the year of all time. No. We'll see, we'll see. We can't even keep up with a single account in Discord so far. True, very true. The return of Teen Titans Ethan. I had to add a note to his Discord account to keep up. Oh my gosh. I just see Teen Titans Ethan, I assume it is THLPH. See, the thing is, I forgot about Teen Titans Ethan. We're creating so much lore within our own community that I, like, lost track of what I've drawn. How bad is that? I know that sounds terrible, but it's true. I'm losing track of everything. Alright, that's better. Make those a little bit more prominent. And probably curve this one up a little bit more. There we go, that's better. His horns do have another protrusion just above his ears. Check his all-around actor skin and the boat art. Oh, okay. Thank you. It's black on black. It blended in a little. I want to make sure that the ear position is still correct too as I'm making all these adjustments and things. Might be a little closer actually, because I think it's part of the, I think it's more attached to the horns, which would make the ear a little higher. Because, yeah, the ear should be higher. Out there. This needs to be more tilted. Let's see. Like I said, I apologize because I don't draw guys super often. Especially not like, I don't draw like guys very often, you know? Like, most of the guys I've drawn are like Mizuki level. So I need more practice. Alright, that works better. I'm trying to make this not, let me see if I can tilt it a little. I'm trying to not make this look too much like exactly like the official art in terms of like a one-to-one with the already existing artwork, you know? Because then what's the point of drawing it? You're just copying. Unless you're just copying to learn, but... Alright, that's a little bit better. I'm might change the side I'm working on, though, just so I still have something to work off of. Well, I guess I can go either way. Alright, let's try to take it from here. It's so funny because there's some artists who like they only draw guys and they never draw girls, and then there's so many other artists who are vice versa, only draw girls, never draw guys, and I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to do both, and I'm just like, I'm struggling so much because I don't draw enough guys. What does the blue rectangle do? Is it a contrast thing? It's not a contrast thing, it's a position thing. So the idea is that afterward, this would get cut and be like a phone wallpaper. Just dudes. Yeah, I see now that this is like supposed to be part of the same horn. Alright, that's better. Actually, one of my favorite artists on YouTube, Kuroshiro, he actually, I don't know if they're a guy or girl, I'm gonna be honest. They do some really, really amazing tutorials, but they mainly draw men. And in terms of, like, seeing really high-quality drawings of guys, I like to watch a lot of their speed paints because they're really talented. So, part of the way I'm doing this is also very much Kuroshiro inspired. And then what I'll try to do is to start cleaning it up a bit and getting a little bit more painterly. Just draw gender-bent versions of all the girls you like to draw. It's not that. It's like it's like I would be fine just drawing a guy. I just don't normally get a chance to. Also, doing a gender-bent version means you don't really have much of a reference, because it's more so that I don't have the facial structure in my head yet, because a anime guy uses more realistic proportions than an anime girl, right? Because as we all know, anime girls are based off of cats, and anime guys are not based off of cats. So it's a completely different facial structure that you have to study. Funny, I was on Pinterest the other day and I actually saw a character design that someone had made, and I'm like, dang, if I was a guy, that's the type of clothing I would wear. It was like a white suit with a bunch of star motifs, and I think it was a Genshin OC. Stars Fox, not cat, though? Well, it's not your species. I mean, Gavial has the same thing, you know? And that's, like, an alligator. Or like, Gargura's a shark, but she still has cat face. I mean, if you wanted to see that I have fox face, that would be more my anthro side. Now I want to see Gavial with an actual alligator proportions. I mean, then that's just an alligator. That's just an anthro-alligator. Do you just want to see, like, an anthro-alligator version? Because that's what you would get. It's just alligator. Then that's just an anthro. Needs to be a little further in. I'm trying to figure out where the middle of the face is here as well. Yeah, I need a lot more experience drawing guys. I can tell I do not have that comfort level yet. You know, the irony is that, like, I really do want to start doing more sculpture-related things, and I think that sculpture is my easiest way of learning character proportion, because I think better in 3D than I do in 2D, if that makes any sense. Have you heard the operator's New Year voice lines? I have not, except for Raoul's, I've seen Raoul talking about aroma. And I was very shocked about that, because I didn't know that was a thing that happened. I haven't even gotten a chance to do my dailies yet, but I was very surprised seeing, seeing aroma first. Mm. I don't know why, but mouths are some of the hardest things for me to draw. Mouths are so easy to get wrong. It's also gonna sound really strange, but I'm still not happy with my art style. And I don't like when I can tell that I did a piece. I know that probably doesn't make any sense. But it's like... Yeah, I don't really know how to explain that. Oh, what beautiful art. Wait a minute, I drew this! There's weird quirks in your art style where, like, someone who knows your art can tell that it's yours. But the weird quirks that I have from my art style, I don't like when I can tell. Because I feel like it's, the quirks that I see in my style are an unrefined element. I feel like I'm spouting nonsense right now. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Alright, that's a little bit more even. So much of this is just trying to get the proportion correct, honestly. I didn't even realize his hair was tied in the back. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you feel like the piece could still use some polishing up? I mean, yeah, this piece? Absolutely. This piece is not polished at all. But in general, it's more like, I can tell that my proportions are not, like, as refined as other people's proportions, and I can see it in my work. Even when I'm doing stuff that I'm, like, really confident in, even if I'm doing, like, anthro pieces, I can still see it. It drives me crazy. Alright, what side are we picking? Alright, we'll go with this one here. Post another reference? Back inside of head. Alright. Thank you. I'm gonna need to save all these later. Alright, I'll make that a little bit. I don't even know if this is something I'm just cropping off or if I'm gonna make the whole thing a little bit smaller so that it shows, or I don't know what I'm doing. Make the whole thing a little bit smaller. About there is probably nice. You want a little bit of empty space here, and if the ear gets cut off, it's okay. But you want to do it in a way where it feels deliberate, at least. So, like, if it was cropped here, that's still okay, as long as it's shaded out. Let's see here. When you're just being hard on yourself, which most artists are, regardless of the medium. I mean, it's just an art style that I don't like, that I feel like I'm kind of stuck in, I guess. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's because artists are too hard on themselves, but it's like, I don't know, the recognizability factor is not a recognizability that I enjoy. I don't know. I think it's also a matter of just being better at the proportions and things, and just like, you can just kind of tell. I don't know. I'll hush. I'll hush about it, because I don't think I can really explain it well. Let's see. At the same time, having a recognizable style seems like a strong leg to stand on. It is, and there's so many people who really want a recognizable style. I don't think I have a necessarily recognizable style. I just think every artist knows when they've made a piece. I don't think it's the same thing as, like, recognizable in the broader sense. It's more like, I can tell the way that I shape eyes, or I can tell the way that I, shape mouths or something, and I'm like, oh, I know which one is mine, and I don't like how I do it. So I think it's just a matter of, getting more practice in, basically. Right now, this neck is way too stocky, even for a guy. There's no movement here. I get being unsatisfied with work, though the only way to improve yourself is to keep doing and working on the weak points. I can only speak from a non-artist perspective. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry, I don't know how I sort of got into this, like, self-ranty mode. I apologize, that was not my intention. I'm just sort of, like, commenting while working, and it just sort of happens, I guess. Sorry about that. I think it's a lack of familiarity with subject matter. I think that's also a larger part of it. Anyway, I'll stop yapping about this kind of thing. What about you guys? Does anyone have any, like, New Year's resolutions that they are thinking about, or anything like that? Let's see if I can get the... Oh, are the E1 and E2 slightly different? They are, okay. A little bit. Random solution slash idea, go draw mech, tank, greebly, sci-fi, etc. Complete opposite to what you usually draw, so the style has to change. No, see, that it's funny you say that, because, I can see it in anything that I draw. It doesn't matter if it's mech. I can see it in the mech, too. It's funny, because I used to tell myself that I needed to try to find an art style that made me happy, or, like, a work system or a flow that made me happy. And once I found it, I would be able to feel comfortable drawing anything at all. And for some reason in my head, I picked a tractor as the best example. Like, oh, once I find the style that I really, really love and want to continue, I'll be fine drawing anything, even if it's a tractor. I don't know why I landed on a tractor, but I did. And that's kind of been like my mental litmus test for like, am I doing a way of painting, rendering, or drawing that feels right? And if I was told that it had to be done the exact same way, but as a tractor, would I still be happy or satisfied? I really don't know how to explain that in any coherent way that would make sense to anybody. But it's like, you know, take the one thing you would never choose to draw on your own, and if you can find an art style that you feel comfortable working in, could you do it regardless of what the subject is, basically? To better raid farms, obviously. Alright, I think that's better. I think I just need to change the angle on the neck here. Neck needs a little bit more hair in the back here. Where's that back piece? Okay. Starlight Tractor, we could have anatomically correct Chamberlain 4480. Don't know how to, you don't keep New Year's resolutions, so you never make them? That's fair, I know there's a lot of people who say that. Surviving this year work would be a nice start, oh my gosh. I hope that the workload is not super intense, and if it is, then you have like a bit more of a break. For New Year's, enjoy the last few days off before the 5th. Fair enough. My New Year's resolution is to be able to at least mimic Arknights E2 arts. See, I'm trying to do something very similar, Arknights, so maybe we can work on that one together. Are you referring to like the you specifically said E2, so I'm guessing you're referring to, like, all the crazy stuff that happens in the background? Lining up eyes is so difficult. That's better. It's so weird how just tiny little changes affect things. Also, wait, I need to... Oof. The other thing is I don't get a good angle when I'm working. Ooh, this is not... Okay, hang on. I have a very different angle if I'm leaning over versus leaning back. And I just realized that this is very different than what you guys are seeing is very different than what I'm seeing. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Let me really quickly make a new window. And have it separated. So that it doesn't matter if I'm leaning backwards because, oh my gosh, this is a very different angle. Okay. Let's tweak this a little bit. It's not super off, but it is a little bit off. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Yeah. Yep, just a little bit better. Star heard me talk about shrimp so much he tries to become one now via bad posture. No. It's not bad posture. It has nothing to do with the posture, actually. I'm not... How do I explain it? The way that I'm looking at the screen is not straight on because I have a screen tablet. And it's sitting stationary at an angle. So if I'm not fully leaned over like a shrimp, that's actually where the problem is. So the irony is that the issue came from me not being a shrimp. Does that make any sense at all? Your single resolution is to get back into old hobbies and start new ones, since you'll be out of survival mode. Read actually making money. That's good. That's good, though. As a love, hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. Sorry, I'm getting so thrown off by so many things, so many different things right now. Not handling confusion. Doesn't sound like a good setup if you need bad posture to do it properly, though. No, what I need to do is, it's fine. I just need to, I just have to basically watch things more carefully. How do I explain any of this? How does the, hang on, how does the back hair go here? Give me a sec. I'll explain it in just a second. Shrimposter haunts me when I'm trying to build Lego car for Christmas. Oh my gosh. So it's more like... Alright, hang on. Let me just try to make sure I understand where the hair is going, and then I'll explain it in just a second. I still feel like this is really off, but I can't figure it out visually right now. Maybe the chin is not in the right angle? That could have been part of it. Nope, that's too far. What am I doing? Let's just go with that. And then curve this a little bit upward. Yeah, I think that's lined up as best I can here. Definitely trying to draw subjects that I'm not nearly as familiar with. That is for sure. last thing, if I tilt that upward. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not that much. The thing is, it's very hard to do an anime face because the way that the planes of the face work are not entirely accurate. So for a guy, it shows up even harder because, again, the proportions are different. I think that's a little bit better. Drive myself slightly crazy here. Alright, let me save that real quick, and let me try to explain the chair thing. If you're curious. So, you know, if you're sitting here on a desk, and you have a tablet that you're working on, right? If that's your tablet, then you either are sitting back, right? When you're not in a shrimp position, and you're working here, and your eye is ideally looking here, but what happens is you should be looking at the screen ideally like this, but what happens is you're sort of kind of looking at it like this, and it creates a distortion that you can't really tell you're looking at. Add Fox here so we know it's you. Oh my gosh, fine. So you should be seeing this, but instead you end up seeing it like this. And you don't really realize it because it's really, really subtle. So then that's how I realized that my proportions were off. So the solution is, if you have another monitor here, if this is a basic monitor that most people have, then you want to be able to duplicate this image to both the tablet and the monitor so that you're looking at it straight, so that you are seeing it at the correct proportion at the right angle. And what happens in terms of the shrimping is what most people do, most artists do, is they'll lean over their tablet like this because they're trying to match the tablet to their eyes. So that's how you end up with the shrimp posture. So if you don't have the shrimp posture, right, then what happens is your eyes are here, and you're kind of looking at the tablet here, and it creates this distortion effect. So that's how you end up with people getting shrimp pose, because they're trying to match their eye angle to the tablet. It's better to just have another monitor so that you can look at it straight, and then sort of keep checking back and forth between the tablet and the monitor to make sure it's accurate. And that's why a lot of people who have screenless tablets, who just look at their monitor, they have better position, they have better posture, and they tend to not struggle so much with the proportion. But the problem is, when you have a graphic tablet, and, right, that's you with your pen, and it doesn't have a screen on it, and you have your monitor here with the art piece, it confuses a lot of people, because the only way to make this work is you have to look at your art piece here, you're only looking here, but all your movement has to be here, and looking down at your tablet doesn't work. So you have to only focus here, which takes a lot of getting used to, and most people don't like doing it. So then they get graphic tablet, but then you end up with this situation where you're either shrimping or your proportions are tilted, and then you have to have a second monitor to counteract it. Does this make any sense at all? Yes? Sort of get it? Okay. I don't know if I was explaining any of that correctly. It's kind of like using a keyboard. You learn how to just not need to look down at it. Yeah, no, exactly. So, for this, what happens here is anyone can get used to drawing this way on a graphic tablet, and some people still prefer to. This used to be the only thing that you had. This used to be like, majority of tablets were made by Wacom, and you either had the graphic tablet, right? Or there was the Cintiq. And the Cintiq was a big, fancy tablet that they still sell, so I don't know why I'm saying was. And one is a little bit of money, and the other is a lots of money. And mainly only people who are working for, like, you know, Blizzard or the Mouse were able to use or afford this thing. So most people started on this. Is it Wacom or Wacom? It's Wacom. So most people start with this thing, and they get really, really frustrated. How many monies is a Cintiq? They've made ones that are now cheaper, but we are talking over $1,000. Capcom. So, most people in the early digital art age were using this. This is like the majority of the populace is using this. So most people get used to this over time, and it becomes muscle memory. And what they don't tell you is that it takes about, I'd say about 1 month for most artists to get used to working on a graphic tablet, because it's a matter of hand-eye coordination. So if you're really good at video games, if you play a lot of games, you know, when you're using a controller or keyboard and looking at the screen, you're gonna probably pick it up faster than someone who does not play video games. But no one ever explains this. So a lot of people just buy a graphic tablet, aren't good at it immediately, and then they just go, I'm not good at digital art. No one explains to them. It takes about a month to get used to. Like, that's not in a rulebook or anything. No one ever tells you this. So, a lot of people, in modern day now, screen tablets got really, really affordable, because of smartphones, because of iPads, and more competition, and then you have different companies like XP Pen and Huion and all of those, and they all try to compete with Wacom. And now most people, even kids just using their finger on their phone, are now doing things just with screens. And it's nice because you don't have that broken hand-eye coordination problem. But if you're using a Cintiq, I am using a Cintiq, except it was, you know, they now make them cheaper, so it was more like this. When you know that you're going into professional art for a living, then you can start investing in, like, a nicer Cintiq. But the issue is that whether you have a small one or a really large one, because they can get to be 30 inches long, mine is 16 across, and that's good enough for me. But a lot of people like the ones that take up their entire desk, and you can't fit them anywhere. So the issue is that they're always tilted. You can't work with your hand on the screen, right? If this is your hand with your pen. You can't work with your hand on the screen and have it at a monitor angle. It doesn't work. You'll break your wrist doing that. You know, that would be bad. And if it's too low, like a piece of paper, then you shrimp. So best thing to do is to have it at, like, you know, 45, where your hand can still rest on it nicely. But you still run into the issue of viewing it at an angle and then needing this monitor secondary to sort of counteract that. Or just, like, check it against a phone or something and make sure that your proportions and angles are not off, because this is the issue. So what happens, and I'll greatly exaggerate it for the sense of demonstration. I see the art more like this, and then I look later at a normal screen, and it looks like this. So that is what we are trying to avoid, essentially. Not to that intensity, but that's kind of the idea of what was happening. At my previous job, we had a student that had a Cintiq as a gift from their parents. They were in high school. Yeah, it was definitely not a high school gift type of thing previously, but now everyone and their brother has a display tablet. It's it's one of those things where, like, you kind of had to earn it, right? Like, if you worked at those crazy companies like Blizzard or Disney or whatever, you kind of felt like you had to earn the ability to use a Cintiq, and it makes people kind of crazy now that, like, every child just automatically has essentially the technology of a Cintiq on their phone or on an iPad. There's no sense of, like, getting that black belt of art tools, you know? It drives some people kind of insane. Myself included in that, by the way. I'm not gonna lie and say that that isn't slightly frustrating. And yes, it's a very back in my day type of attitude. Fully aware of that fact. Is this the art version of kid getting a super nice new car for their 16th birthday? 100%, yeah. Except it doesn't really feel that way anymore because now because competition, now these display tablets are, like, really affordable by comparison. But that doesn't still mean that they still aren't a few $100 or $1,000, multiple thousands of dollars. I think the 30-inch Cintiq that I was mentioning earlier, I think goes for like 2 or 3K or something insane like that. So the Cintiq I use on a day-to-day basis, I think I bought for 800, I want to say. What size of a Cintiq do I need to start pixel art? 20-inch or 30? I honestly can't stand the giant Cintiq. It feels so overwhelming to me, but some people absolutely swear by the larger sizes. Then again, I was the traditional artist who hated larger pads of paper. I hate working large, I will be honest. In general, I hate to work on large surfaces. I like everything small and miniature. So 16 is like the perfect size for me, frankly. Alright, let me get rid of all of that now that I've gone on a way too long tangent here. I'm the same, I use an iPad for CSP and it's nice. Yeah, absolutely. What? Isn't it cool more people can use stuff like that now? No, yeah, no, it's totally fine. It's more so the idea of, like, again, this is me just sort of being pretentious. It's more the idea of, like, people who are buying something that used to be more specialized and revered. And now it's kind of like, oh, you know, I thought that I would, I actually saw a Twitter post like this the other day. It said, what do you call, what is the name for someone who starts a hobby for the first time, doesn't even know if they like it yet, and then just buys the most expensive version of that hobby they can? And the example they gave was for motorcycle enthusiasts, and they were giving some brand name of a motorcycle of people who don't even know if they like, motorcycling. But then they'll go out and get, like, you know, the I don't even know what the range is for motorcycles. They'll get the most expensive thing they can right off the bat. Without even knowing if they like the thing first. And I, unfortunately, do know some people who are like this, and it drives me crazy. Because then, you know, a lot of people will end up selling it. And it's fine if you don't like a hobby that you thought you did, and then you end up selling something. And there are some hobbies that you can't start cheap. For example, resin printing. You can't start resin printing cheap. There is no way to do it. Cheap being kind of relative, right? You can, resin printer, probably like 300-400-ish, plus you have to get like all these, things to clean it up, and it's really messy, and you have to buy this and that just to start it. And then if you're like me, you end up chickening out because the technology terrifies you. The barrier to entry is lower, but the quality ceiling is just as high as it was before. Yeah, yeah. Sounds like my coworker who got the most costly PC just to try out this gaming. Yeah. It's like the people that have a desk mat and use their mouse at super low sensitivity and need to move the mouse across the whole desk. I think you were talking about something else, sorry. It's pretty much impossible to start aquariums cheap if you aren't abusing the fish. You gotta spend like at least $200-300. Yeah, exactly. So there are some cases where I completely know that, like, there are some hobbies you cannot start cheap. You can't. Like Vessa says, unless you're abusing the fish. But, like, Vessa, what if there was, like, someone entering the hobby, and they were like, oh, I've never raised fish before, I've never kept fish, but I'm really thinking that a 10-foot tank would be a good start. I think I'll get a little tiny shark. I think I'll get one of those little sand sharks, and a 10-foot tank. I think that would be a fun way to start the fish-keeping hobby. Let me dig a pond. There was a guy in New Year's who, years ago, basically did zero farming and instead used money to buy everything. And the funniest moment was at one point he asked if I could clear an event for him. In exchange, he would buy me a bean and even ship it to me. Oh my gosh. Sounds like what I would do. Really? 10-foot fish tank? As a first fish tank? Really? Are you sure about that one? So trust me, as someone who did spend a lot of money on a hobby and then chicken out from it, I do understand spending a lot on hobbies that just have a really high startup. But it's more so, I'm talking about the people who, like, majority of people, like, get to a certain point before they invest in the expensive thing, and now it's just like, no one's waiting, everyone's just going straight for the expensive thing. And sure, I think the majority is just, straight up jealousy, I'm not gonna lie. It's very much a back in my day type of deal. The resin printing equivalent would be buying a Formlabs 4L with a wash and cure station. $12,000 when you've literally never done any resin printing before. Yeah. I at least tried to buy something that was, like, middle grade. I ended up getting the wash and cure thing because I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with all the crazy fumes and stuff and the cleanup, and it sounds terrible. And then once it, like, guys, it's a true story. Once it all arrived, I just kept feeling that I just wasn't ready to start it. I wasn't ready to, like, I was in a weird transitional period with work anyway. And, a lot of things were changing and happening in weird ways that I wouldn't have expected. And I was like, oh, I'll figure it out later. And then the more I started learning about it, I was like, this is really bad stuff. And I would keep, like, learning horror stories and getting more and more freaked out, and then someone's like, well, why don't you just sell it? And I'm like, no, I should just be able to brave it. I should just be able to figure it out and brave it and just start it and get used to it. It's been 5 years. It's still in an unopened box. I'm still terrified of it. If anyone's wondering why, like, okay, for those of you who don't understand, like, what resin 3D printing is, basic way that I can describe it is you are working with extremely toxic chemicals. And I'm just too much of a wuss to deal with it. I'm too much of a scaredy cat to deal with extremely toxic chemicals that are really hard to clean up and are basically something to the level you can't just throw it in a regular garbage. You have to have that disposed of. And I couldn't deal. I couldn't deal with it. But now it's been so long that I should have probably just sold it, you know, when I had the chance. I feel bad for anyone with a PC hobby. Ram joke, yeah. Brian Injury, thank you for following on Twitch. Thank you, thank you. That's a clever twist of your name right there. Tech version of buying a Luigi board? We had 2 Formlab Form 3s at my last job that nobody knew how to use and were rendered useless when we moved buildings because nobody unloaded the resin before moving the printers 6K down the drain. Oh, jeez. That is scary. That is scary. I mean, at least when I tried to do resin, they were not Formlabs cost. I don't know why Formlabs are infinitely more expensive by like a factor of 10 for every other resin printer. So I didn't touch anything related to Formlabs, thank God. But I still need to sell that resin printer at some point, and my goal this year, I think, is going to be to learn filament, because filament is safe, it's like easy, they advertise that children can use it, and I didn't go for filament originally because my main goal is sculpture, and filament is like the plastic extruded stuff, so it has like a bunch of the really annoying lines going throughout all of it. But the technology's improved so much that, like, even just within the past 5 years that I got the resin versus filament, that it's now very, it's very, very close to resin in terms of the quality it can achieve. And if it needs to be higher quality, then you can just sand it down, which is what I do for my polymer clay work anyway. So I think my goal this year is, at some point, if I can figure out the digital sculpting aspect, which I've done before and just need to get back into, I want to see if I can get into 3D printing, but the safe version. And the price has come down a lot in the past few years, so that's really nice too. But before I do any of that, I really want to just sort of test if I understand how to sculpt digitally, because I know how to do it traditionally. I feel like I really have a good grip on it traditionally. But digitally, when you have to worry about, like, your mesh and polygon count and how intense and how crazy the model is, I don't have to worry about that traditionally, and I don't know how to handle it digitally. So I'll have to see if I can get used to that part of it. Thankfully, I'm not trying to code anything for games, so I don't have to be crazy with poly count stuff, but it still confuses me as to how you balance it. And I tried looking this up a lot in the past, and there weren't really ever any clear answers on how to balance it. Especially not for things that you were trying to 3D print. There's a lot of plastic that gives off toxic fume too. Are you thinking of like ABS or something? PLA is the safer one, right? ABS is a little bit dicier, if I remember correctly. I haven't looked at this stuff in a long time, to be honest. But they advertise 3D printers as, like, being safe for children at this rate, so look, anything's better than resin. Ideally, you crank out as many polygons as possible for FDM because the slicer will convert it into arcs. Does it matter if the model is, like, quote-unquote too heavy? Fume vent and you're fine, it's like soldering. What are you referring to, though? You eat the resin printer? I would highly advise against that. As someone who does a lot of model railway work, filament's completely useless, except for stuff that actually needs to be strong for detail. You'd use resin. Model trains are small. Yeah, no, that's fair. But I'm comparing it against people who are using, who have started to use filament for tabletop miniatures. Because tabletop miniature is probably the level that I would need to have. Roll asked if you'd play the Switch 2 yet. Yes, I played it a lot during Thanksgiving break. I haven't, like, gotten a chance to really dive in with it, but I tried out the Mario Kart that came with it. Where's the... What am I trying to do here? Did you pick Yoshi? I actually picked Bowser. I main Bowser for Mario Kart, I'm not gonna lie. Does that surprise? That's rather unexpected and funny. I have used Yoshi, but I tend to main Bowser when it comes to Mario Kart. Ideally, you don't use PLA, however, as it tends to break down semi-quickly. For the most part, ASA should be used over ABS. I have a buddy that actually produces filament, pick up a lot of info. Oh, dang. Is PLA okay for things that don't get handled a lot, like figurines, for instance? I mean, just because, like, modern printers are getting to the level where it is easier to, make comparisons against resin, but it also needs to be soft enough that it can be sanded. I need to find a filament that is good as polymer clay. It only needs to be as good as polymer clay, because that's what I used to work with, is polymer clay. So the main reason for it is, like, the main reason I would want to get into 3D printing is so that I could make multiples of the things that I used to do in polymer clay. If I wanted to make, like, let's say I made some sort of operator chibi or something, and then I wanted to make more of those if people wanted to buy them, let's just say. Then I would want to be able to make multiple. Or if I was just doing one-offs, then I would just do it in regular polymer clay, and then that would be more like an artisan thing. I did used to do clay commissions once upon a time, you know. Once upon a time. Cheaper resin printer can't print miniatures that well either, I think. If you have a good filament printer, then Vapor Smooth, it looks great. Is that the thing where it gets, like, really shiny? Because you actually, it's better to have, like, matte, especially if you need to paint it after. Can we get a Yoshi clip for New Year? My gosh. Alright, fine. If I remember how to do this. Marshall! Bling! Ha! Ow! 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 There you go. Thank you. You guys are silly. No way the Kuro ink brush can also shade the hair. I love this brush so much. Arknight, did you hear me, like, praising Kuro earlier? I love this person. I love their brush work. I love their brush. I love everything. I use this brush for the entire piece. Like, I do not care. It's so good. This brush is everything. It needs to work on everything for me. I love this brush so much. Give us one of those Yoshi Yahoo things. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. Is that something I've done before? I don't recognize what you're saying now. Alright, this isn't bad considering I don't normally draw guys, but there's also standard Rembrandt lighting. It's really good practice, though. Yoshi Yahoo, I now imagine the Stratomario sacrificing Yoshi for the extra jump. That's kind of what I thought. I'm like, what are you referring to here? Even if it's not handled, they start to get dicey after 5 years or so. The stuff is designed to be able to break down in 6 to 12 months if composited. Really? Huh. Kalamex, I might need to ask you about filament at some point down the road because I want to try to find something that isn't, like, intended to break down. But can still be worked and sanded. Like, that's the main thing. I just need it to be, like, soft like clay, but doesn't fall apart. Jeez. If it falls apart, that is no-go. ASA is your best bet. Is it, but can you sand it? Can you work with it? If I ordered Star merch and it melted, I would cry. I would cry too! I would be very upset. To let anyone down would be terrible. Are you kidding me? I've only ever worked with polymer clay, and that stuff is not meant to degrade, and I usually paint it with acrylic. Or air. It has to be primed, painted, and sanded. I don't know what would work for that then. You can answer questions later. 3D printing is one of my hobbies. I will definitely take you up on that. You know, it's funny, guys. I didn't think that I would get into this mindset. Galemex, I'm gonna tease you a little bit. I forget how we even got on the subject. I don't even remember how we ended up bringing this up, but like, Galemex is who got me back on this train of thought of like, oh yeah, I remember wanting to, I think I was just saying that I wanted to do sculpture. And then I was like, I probably just mentioned like, oh, I tried resin and I can't anymore. And then you probably brought up the 3D printing stuff. Because I was like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about 3D printing. I was just thinking about going back to doing it traditionally. And then you sort of like brought me back into, well, have you thought about this tech or that tech? And I'm like, oh, well, wait, no, let me look this up. And then I got into the rabbit hole. Yeah, I think I was just talking about, like, regular traditional sculpting. And then I ended up going into a rabbit hole. Calamax is like Wilson from Home Improvement. He always seems to have a lot of knowledge about whatever the topic is. True. By the way, Star, might have to ask you for some advice later. A friend of me is commissioning me to paint one of their trains. I want to hear your advice for color matching. Ooh. Okay, I can try to help with color matching, but I probably don't use the same material you do. So I don't know if I would have the right advice for what material. I'm guessing you use Tamiya? Tamiya paints? And I typically use water, soluble acrylic. Did bring up FDM has come a long ways in recent years. Yeah, you did. I remember you showed me the Yoda thing, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not really what I need. And then I looked into it, like, you know, and then I looked into what people were doing for miniatures. And then I saw some other printer on the market now, and everyone's like, oh, this competes with resin for miniatures. And I'm like, oh. Wait, if you just sand that a little bit, then that's like... The thing is, I'm used to sanding pieces because you have to do that for clay anyway, so even if it's a little bit of extra work sanding, I would rather spend the extra work sanding than the extra risk of starting to become allergic to all resin forever. There's a lot of horror stories out there. One of the horror stories I saw that really freaked me out is, somebody saying that they develop permanent sensitivity to nail polish as a result of using their 3D printer. They can't get near a bottle of nail polish because of that sensitivity. Or you just straight up get to the point where you can't 3D print at all anymore. You just develop sensitivity and then your hobby's gone. And it's just something I did not want to bother dealing with. It's just too freaky. Used Tamiya spray paint for the most part. Okay. What program do you use to make the files for 3D printing? I think that each 3D printer has its own program to, like, actually send to the printer. But in terms of prepping it, I don't really know. I'm trying to remember when I think one time when I did a 3D printing project, using somebody else's 3D printer, I made a model in ZBrush, and then I think I just had to convert the file. And I don't know if there was anything after that, or if there was stuff that they do in the 3D printing software to then arrange it and make sure it doesn't fall apart. But I think the other thing is, a lot of people will sell models that you can print out, and they probably have it, like, ready to go in many cases. I don't think you have to do much work, but I don't really know. It's actually pretty standard. Okay. Slicer is the base software for 80% of printers on the market, including Bamboo and Prussia. Oh, okay. Raul, in terms of, in the case of the spray paint, my best advice is to, what I usually do to color match. Charming Falcon, hello, hello. Thank you for the super chat. Happy 2026, Star and Stargazers. The stream is so chill. I really miss Irium bombs in moments like these. My gosh, Charming Falcon. Daho, you don't have to- oh my gosh. Daho's got you covered, I guess. Daho's got you covered. Oh no. See, one other thing I'm hoping to figure out, for the year as well is, stream loots. And that would kind of potentially maybe bring that back, but I also don't know when it would make sense to do so. The Chaos Man himself has arrived! Charming Falcon, how are you? Happy New Year! Really quick, just so I don't forget what I was saying to Raul, when it comes to color matching, you want to test everything on, like, I think with acrylics, we were just testing it on cardstock, to be honest, like, just basic cardstock. And then you have to dry it fully and make sure that the color doesn't change between wet and dry. And we would spend a few hours just making swatches for various figures. I have a lot of swatches that were for a lot of the Star Wars figures where we had to, like, work with a bunch of different gray shades. I was constantly making different swatches for hours on end to try to match it as close as we could to the Pantone. And that's what I was doing with the prototype stuff. So much of the prototype work was about color matching. I probably still have swatch cards that were for, like, I know I have the swatch card for Thor. I know I did a figure for Thor. I still have the swatch card for Thor. Who else do I have the swatch card for? Probably at least 5 Stormtroopers. But again, yeah, that was all acrylic, and our main goal was to match it with Pantone. So I don't really know how different the Tamiya paints behave. Pantone, that word brings back memories. Oh, Pantone. Bane of my existence. The best thing I got out of that job with the Pantone situation is that I got to keep the books. I hate the fact every time I hear the word Pantone, I think of the current train liveries here in my country. They were nicknamed that by train enthusiasts. You meant the stream? Oh, the reaction stream. That was so stupid, though, because I had to force you guys to look it up yourselves. That was dumb. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I had to force you guys to look up the results on your own. I didn't like that. Sell the official Stormtrooper swatch card on the black market. The scary thing is I there are some things I'll probably never do it, but there are some things that would be a fairly decent penny. It was a silly stream and I liked it. I'm glad you liked it. I just didn't like how I had to, like, make it so hard for people. There just wasn't a good situation for it. I mean, that's ultimately why I just couldn't handle it, you know? I mean, there are a few other reasons, but the main thing is, like, I have to be able to show things off. Starlight knows all the upcoming Fortnite skins until 2028. Hello, Zangetsu, welcome back, welcome back. I'm glad you think this is looking alright, I appreciate it. And just imagine Chewbacca and Prism aesthetics and it is a vibe. What would that even be? What? That's crazy. Chewbacca and Prism aesthetics. Gosh. For some reason they added Pulp Fiction a few days ago? That's a weird choice. Aren't they all weird choices? Well, Miku's not a weird choice. But aren't they mostly weird choices? Okay. It's fine if I... Yeah, this is okay. Now that there's no topic, do you paint on vector or on pixel? Oh, pixel. I can't do vector. I can't do vector because my work is too painterly. Vector is not good if you have a painterly style. If you have a comic style or like a traditional anime style or like, you know, production frame by frame stuff, then that's fine. But if you have a painterly style, you can't use vector very easily. I mean, you can, it's just, you're gonna have a hard time. You can try, I guess. I've tried. I have not found it to work for me. Even though the benefits are really, really nice, I couldn't do it. It just doesn't feel very natural to me anyway. Although the idea of just being able to erase so easily for the edges, the idea of just being able to like erase to edge, with the line art, the ability to adjust your lines, like there's so many great benefits to it. But if you have a painterly style, you kind of don't have any good reason to need those benefits. Yeah, I would not utilize it very well, I don't think. I'm curious why you ask. I'm trying to figure out how to balance what I just painted and then making it darker without, like, messing myself up further. Alright, I think that's okay. Alright. This is lighter, so that's fine. Make this part darker. Daho, I'm curious why you were wondering about the vectors now. Do you work in vector? You don't remember? You don't remember what you work in? Made the question originally half an hour ago. No! That's such a Daho moment. I'm just... Okay. Goldfish brained, are you going to keep her in your tank, Vessa? Or outside pond, I suppose. It's an insult to my goldfish, they are pretty smart. Was not trying to insult your goldfish, I apologize. Tell your goldfish what's 9 plus 10. How would a goldfish answer something like that? Because, like, I know that I've seen, like, the horse that can do it with their feet. But how would a goldfish answer that? You've seen that, right? You've seen the horse that can count? And it basically just, like, stomps the number. They bubble? There you go. That works. Goldfish don't do math. They are gamers. You saw how they beat Elden Ring. True. You're not wrong. I think the math horse was debunked. Oh, was it? That's a shame. I like the math horse. we make our own math horse? In what way? What do you mean, can we make our own math horse? How do you intend on doing that? First step, steal a horse. I don't think this is gonna end well. Step 2, steal a calculator? Where are you going with this? What is this leading up to? I don't understand. You can make an abacus with bracing lines for horses? What? Stick a horse head mask on Lillian and scam people? I think it will have one too many legs. Or two too many legs. Wait, how many? 4 too many legs. An abacus with racing lines. I'm trying to think of how this will work. I couldn't remember if it was 6 or 8, okay. You know I gotta clip that and tag her. She'll be like, I can't believe you don't remember how many legs a spider has. I'm sorry, I don't normally pay attention to the leg count of spiders. She's just gonna use that to harass me more, you know that, right? Star in your defense, an 8-legged horse does exist. Sleipnir, yeah, true. I was off for a bit, who are we harassing? Nobody. Nobody. see if we can do this here. It's not bad considering I don't normally draw guys. Alright, let's make the line art not blue. That would help. The clip is processing. Why? Vessa, why? Why would you do this? I know he's just gonna answer because funny. What am I trying to do now with the... Alright, this is supposed to be in the gold section, so we'll have it, like... About this color is probably good. And then this is also... Right out here. She's never gonna let me live that one down, you know? You know that, right? Or are you just counting on that? Wait, how does that make Grani associated? What? I don't get that. I don't think that means that every horse is a descendant of Sleipnir. Confusion bad, bomb good. Jeez, dog. Alright. Caveman brain top. Let me just clean this up a little bit. This is definitely more than I was planning for the meme thing, but it's because it's also Chonyu's birthday, so we're adding a little bit more here. A little bit extra, a little bit of cleanup. What? 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 Daho, what? I can't keep up. And out of the corner of my eye, there's like 10 messages and they're all Daho and then there's just fire. What is happening right now? All right. Why is Tahoe full on caveman now? Why is this a thing now? Alright. What was the last thing I was trying to do? Oh, I think I was just trying to do a little bit of cleanup here. Which, of course, doesn't correspond. Okay. Oh well. There's a little bit of extra detail there. What? What? Why? What? I can't. What is happening? I feel like the I'm so sorry to the VOD watchers because they can't really understand what is I'm freaking out about. It's just like mainly a problem with chat. I'm so sorry to the VOD watchers. I just don't really know what to make of them right now. I'm just trying to do like the thinner parts over here with like a slight paint over. Very, very subtly here. You call that a problem? Dov's not sorry to VOD watchers. Oh my gosh. Too bad from them. They better try to restream from now on. Goodness. I'm just trying to add a little bit of extra detail in the horns here. Just to show the texture. Just to even things out nicely. And then sort of go back and reduce it so it's not so intense. So much of art is just drawing something and then hiding it again. And I know that I just affected every artist in here by saying that, because I know you've experienced it. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. Psychic damage. Alright. See, that's just nice. It's just like a little extra to sort of add a little bit of extra texture, tie things in, clean things up a little. like programming. Most of what you do is what nobody will ever worry about or notice that will make it work right. Yeah. True, exactly. You're texturing, and it is still the same brush! I would have paid... If I had known how good this brush is, I would have paid a lot of money for it. This brush is saving my life, honestly. This brush is single-handedly, like, solving world hunger in my head. Which brush is it? It is, Kuro ink. It is Kuro ink. Stockler, it's the one I linked you. Did you get it with login credits? No, it's free. I'm just gonna open up Clip Studio real quick. For no reason at all. Alright, we're just gonna... There we go. Alright, that's... cool. No, I actually remembered earlier in the day that I forgot to open it. Like I said, I didn't even log into AK today yet, okay? I'm sorry. If you remember to do a task but don't, that's still basically forgetting. I know, I'm sorry. Were you runner-up or honorable mention? You were runner-up. You and Newbie were runner-up, so actually what I should probably do is I should probably, switch here and go and make a quick illustration of rope. But again, the reason that I went much more detailed on this piece was because birthday. So the timing worked out, basically. Alright. Let me just grab it. This one... Alright. I don't think that purple is right, either. Let me change that. Let me change that to a... No, this is... There we go. There we go. Actually, wait, I just realized because of the color scheme, kind of probably would look good in sepia, wouldn't he? Give me a sec. What if I did this? What if I duplicated this, put it over, and then did a overlay? Sepia works well. Sepia works well. Yeah, because of the color scheme, sepia works nicely, I think. And there you go, then it's like a nice... And then here, in order to not make it look super boring, what we'll do here is I'll take the color from the E2 a little bit. We're just gonna do a little bit of... This is called distracting the audience with your backgrounds. So we'll do a little bit of just... I'm basically just trying to get texture down. And then I'll blur it. Just so it's less intense. And then I'll do a layer on top and clip it. And we will do... Where's my rake? I have a rake here that will work nicely. I always forget where the rake is, though, because I don't use it that often. Where are you? Actually, water might work. Would water work? Let me see what I have here. Ooh, nope. Yeah, I'm gonna try... Alright, what if I did this? Alright, let me try that again. I think maybe if I did it more subtly, that would work better. Try that. Alright, maybe this will work nicely. Just a little... Why is the chat on fire again after I stepped away for just a split second? Why is the chat on fire again? Can someone explain why the chat's on fire again? I turned around for a quick second and the chat's on fire again. Why is the chat on fire again? Because background is fire? It was meant to be clouds. Gosh. You goof. I'm just trying to show you guys how you can quickly make a more interesting layout using some pretty simple techniques. If you didn't already know them. And so if this is too fiery, then we can soften it a little bit. Oh, not like that. Just add a little bit of extra. You can just do subtle things to make a piece look more interesting. And then this is, of course, the best way to finish it off. If you know this one. I think most people know this one. There we go. Here. Pretty sure most people know how this one works, but this always gives it a nice effect, too. Whole thing looks like cut paper now. It's just a really nice way to very quickly make your piece feel more finished. And now the chat's filled with cockroaches, and I don't know why. I'm gonna try to see if I understand what's happening now. His face screams clearly you don't own an air fryer. Oh my gosh. Alright. Great piece once again, and thank you again. Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. The only thing I'll probably try doing is I'll try to add his name at the top. Just in case you wanted to use it, but I usually spend too long going through different fonts. Let me try to also make this a little bit larger, just so that if the ear gets chopped off, then it's not as intrusive. I think is the best way to say it. Maybe like, yeah, just a little bit. And then if it gets cut off, it'll be like here. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just make it smaller. Alright. And then I'll do a quicker piece here. If I can. Let me see if I could do a... Man. I thought I had an example of how I like seeing people doing a sketch style, but maybe not. Maybe I can't find it. Alright. When you try making the background bigger to cover the ears in other proportions, you can... Wait, making the background bigger? Do you mean, like, making him smaller? There's really two ways you can go about it. You can nicely try and make it larger so that it crops in a decent way, and then sort of takes up space there. Or you can make it smaller and just fit it, but it's more centered, and it might look... That actually might work better. Ignoring the fact that the highlights are out of the way, but that actually might look better if you want to try that. That positioning might actually work better. And then you make it a little bit smaller here so that it's not even. Because if it's centered, it just kind of looks a little bit awkward. So you want to make it a little off-center. Adding a little bit more negative space here. And I think I saw someone say the ear was a little bit off, so let me adjust that real quick. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Ear might still be a tad too large, but... Yeah, that's better. Is it not possible to do with a background, with what you did just now? Making Chongyue big and small? I mean, I can. I'm just trying to figure out what the best layout is. What I'm trying to do is this background is 1920 by 1080. So I don't want to change the background because, one, it's the fit size for doing a YouTube short, and two, it's the fit size for making like a really fitting wallpaper or something. So it's better for me to arrange him. Because people were saying, why do you have the rectangle there? And it's to figure out the proportion for content, basically. I'm not saying that you have to use this as a wallpaper. It's the size that makes the best YouTube short. All right. And then let's see here if we can do... Let's try to do this in a slightly different style. Let me actually grab this picture here. And the E2 pieces here. Let's see if this works. Whooper wallpaper forever. Yeah, it's the base for the work when you know what you want it to do at the end, basically. Alright, and then for her, let's try something slightly different. Hopefully this is... I say that this is a matter of, like, guy or girl or being easy or something, but I know myself to know that I'm still trying to learn the best proportions either way. I'll make this one a little bit faster, and I want to see if I can sort of play around with a more carving approach. So, I think Daho was asking earlier, why do you use pixel or do you use vector? The way I work, you just can't do this in vector. It would just get really upset. It would get really irritated. It would be very frustrating to work with. I can show you what it looks like if I try to do it in vector. It's a mess. So no, I do not normally work in vector. That looks great. Back in a bit. Need shopping before it gets too hot. Very fair, Bushmaster. I bet 500 cheese slices. Star will only use one brush for the stream. Does that count the background? Because I did jump into some different brushes for the background. One brush for Chongyue, but different brushes for each of the background. Don't know if that counts or not. What I need to figure out, there's a new technique that a bunch of artists are now using where they use the lasso to shape everything, and I have to figure out how they're doing that, because that's just crazy to me, honestly. Have you seen that, Arknight? Have you seen the lasso thing that people are starting to do now? They're carving shapes like this, except they're doing it all in the lasso, and I don't understand it for the life of me. Because I've never been able to get the lasso to work nicely for me. I don't fear an artist that made one art with 1,000 brushes. I fear the artist that made 1,000 art with one brush. Probably Chongyue. I've seen. Still no idea how they envision it. Right? I can't get it. Like, it doesn't compute in my head, to be honest. Like, I don't know how to work with the lasso to begin with. I hardly ever use the lasso, really. But I don't understand people who can block things out with a lasso. That's just insane to me. Alright, probably need to add a little bit more of her neck here. Maybe make this a little bit smaller, because otherwise I'll never fit her ears in. So the way that I'm working right now is basically carving the piece. And it's kind of like what the lasso people do, except not with 0 direction. The lasso people, I don't know how you would do it. The only thing I can do with the lasso is just move things around. And even then I should be careful because it kind of distorts things and breaks stuff up and yada yada. But I'm just being more playful and experimental. I'm kind of taking more of the approach that I did when I painted Mizuki. Where I was just sort of having fun going wild with the shapes and colors and things. Actually, nah, let me move her ears so it doesn't get in the way. And this seems a lot faster on the surface because you're spending less time getting the idea down, but then you have to spend more time refining it. So it's kind of like, you sort of just have to pick your battle and which way works better for you, I think. I think either approach is valid to work in, right? It's kind of like, I'm showing off different ways of approaching a piece. Different ways that might work differently for different people. Better or worse. Depending on your goals, really. Mihu, hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. Happy New Year to you too. I hope you are having a good start to the year. I do not know how to do Hime cut. Hime cut's tricky. What works for her? Every time I say that, I hear Chen voice from first anniversary Arknights animation called Holy Night Light. Oh. I think that's what someone... I think someone linked that in the Discord earlier, and I didn't click it because I didn't know if it was safe. I don't take chances, even if it means I miss out on another opportunity of something. The video is safe to watch, you want to react? Well, people were, someone posted like, oh, if you play this right before New Year's, and if you play it at this time, then Jim wishes you Happy New Year, and I'm like, I don't know if this is safe, so I won't click it. Oh well. Alright, proportions are a little off, so let's fix that. That's already better. Okay, Loose Star rejected Chen, wishing her- You know why. I was pretty sure there was a copyright issue with it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Drawing can easily be compared to playing Arknights. There are multiple ways to approach a piece, stage, either sketch first, vanguard, silhouette first, defender, or straight up line art, DPS. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that comparison so much. Oh my gosh. Arknight, can you do me a favor? Can you, like, post that somewhere so I can pin it? I don't know where, but, like, can I pin that, please? Can you post that somewhere in the Discord so it can get pinned? Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. That is so funny. You know what's funny? I was thinking about, you know, the New Year's stuff and the goals and things, right? And I was like, I really want to do more craft things. I really want to do more, like, sculptures and things, or what have you. And I was thinking about, hang on, let me try to get my thoughts straight when I'm trying to explain this. As a VTuber, I am usually fairly reserved, so I don't normally do things like, handcam streams and such, but I was like, I really want to do 3D stuff. But in order to show off 3D stuff, you kind of, it's a lot easier if you don't have to hide your hands constantly. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. In this outfit, I just canonically have gloves on all the time, constantly. That could be a really good solution. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, wait, that actually works really well. Wait, that could work really well. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, if I'm just canonically, like, the Doctor while showing off, like, Arknights related art and stuff, would that just be I was thinking if that would be weird if it would just be like, you know, why is the Doctor constantly making figurines of Suzerain? Doctor's practicing so Doctor can help teach kids. Yeah, basic sculpture 101 class here. Cal would like a word? What do you mean by that? I just think that, you know, she doesn't have any merch. She deserves some merch. Get back to work, Star the Land Chef won't run it still. I was just thinking it would be funny, you know? Just hanging out with Deep Color constantly, probably. Or Dusk. And then just constantly working on art projects and sculpture projects. And different keychains and things. Making merch for the land ship. I'm trying to figure out how Rope's outfit works. Closure would definitely cash on the opportunity to sell merch. I remember when I first started, people were saying, oh yeah, some of the operators would definitely be considered, like, famous celebrities, revered and all that, and I'm like, well, there you go then. Cal walks in on you making calcit merch and is torn on letting it slide and killing you then and there. Oh my gosh. It'd be like, no, you don't understand, it was a commission. There's references on the monitor, and one of them is Peltier's if it fits, I sits. Someone made Chantalula plushie, what could go wrong? Exactly. That had to be drafted, designed. There was a lot of work that went into that. That was not a spur-of-the-moment thing. Unless Chen just learned how to sew. Trying to think if this is right. Alright, and then we'll get... Pager plush 1-1 scale. Jeez. You just move around the landship at night like an elf on the shelf. I was considering at some point making a, at some point maybe trying to do a Patriot in Nendoroid style someday. Like the really big Pokemon plush, but Arknights bosses. That'd be terrifying. I still feel like Closure would have a hand in that, though, because doesn't she love to play pranks? Closer's just Taka's mischievous daughter. Oh my gosh. I can see it though, unfortunately. Closure wondering why he's so obsessed with Karanta. So does Warfarin. Old Vamp doesn't take anything seriously. How to monetize Starlight Works on roads, but also how to start speedrunning Carpal Tunnel. For the spy. I can just imagine, it's like, you know, hey, can't anyone have hobbies? You look at my desk and there's just a little mini chibi figurine of every operator. I want to make this into a stupid comic at some point, just like a little, 4-coma. Just like the look of absolute, like, disgust. Here's my plushie collection, here's Evie, here's Prism, here's Patriot. Imagine this in the real world, you walk into your boss's office, he has a bunch of homemade figures of the staff. But what if they're like, what if they're Christmas presents? What if he just got a, what if, because that's a thing, you know, because there are people who are like 3D printing, like, what if he just wanted to show off a new 3D printer and was like, I made Christmas presents for everybody? People do that without figures, they'll do it for other stuff. It's just smiling friends. Here you go, Alan. It's a little version of me clip. Sure you haven't seen it, so I'll post it. Okay. Toys for Tots has a 3D printed segment where they supply the requested toy files and have people batch print them out. Oh, that's really cool! Wait, I like that a lot. That's really fun. Which way would this ear go? I mean, having trouble, like, identifying the ear direction here. You probably have to be like that, I guess. What was it before? Oh, I guess that's fine. Just do a little bit on the edge. Can't do a little bit on the edge. Without it looking like the inside. I'm trying to make it look like the back, not the inside. I'll just leave it. It's probably more accurate that way anyway. Do you know the boss is making voodoo dolls of us, so behave and do some overtime? Not everything has to result in voodoo dolls. What? Wait, what does Daho say that's genius? You've clearly not worked in upper management before. If they could make their employers work by mind manipulation, they would 1000% do it. I'm just saying it doesn't always have to be based on voodoo. Whatever. Gradients of purple are so nice, thank you. It's like, I'm trying to just sort of play around with the feeling of the piece more. This is a lot more of like an artistic, like throw around the paint and see what sticks kind of deal. So I'm trying to get like a little bit of extra additional color, and then I like doing that thing that some artists can do where they just sort of like punch in bright colors in various places. I think it's always a really nice technique if you can pull it off. It's not easy to do though. Not always the easiest to do. But sometimes I've seen people like, they'll just add it a little bit here in the line art. And just sort of adds like a little bit of a punchy effect. You can't do it too much, or it kind of loses what you're going for, but just a little bit. It makes it, what's the word? It makes it vibrate. It makes the piece vibrate a little bit. And you don't want to overdo it. You just want to add like a little bit of little extra pieces here and there. Almost forgot her bows. That would not be good. I'm just trying to add a little bit of extra color here and there, to sort of, and I just erased the bow. Cool. Just erased the bow working too fast. We'll keep that out here. And we'll just do like a... make it more curved for where her head is here. Sometimes it's just nice to just let loose. You're not trying to make it look like super perfect, amazing. And it's important for me to do because I think sometimes I get really stuck in that. And sometimes by being really rough with it, it can actually end up looking better. And it is something that I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to implement more in my own work. Is that imperfect, that beauty that makes things look really nice with how imperfect they are. So it drives me crazy that even AI is trying to steal that style now too. But I digress. I like that it feels punchy. Something you find hilarious? Nero's having an art contest and they banned AI. Yeah, I saw that. People were, thinking it was so funny, so hilarious. Does she have gray eyes? I guess she does. Okay. Let's see. I can do this here. Hang on. There's actually something where I probably don't want lines showing right now. Otherwise it's too restrictive. Yeah, this is not great. Alright, let me shift this around a little. No, that's fine. What needs to change? Probably this part. I remember seeing people saying that this curvature of the face here is like such a make or break part of a piece. And it's so true, especially for anime. That like curved cheek. Alright, let me just leave that then. And let me just try to do... Let me just try to do that here with... Oh, come on. Why are we not happy? Because we're on the eraser, that's why. Alright, the whole thing needs to be readjusted, I think. A little bit. Great, good night. Alright. New way of displaying chat? No, we were just, we struggled with, my chat thing is down today for some reason. Because, why not? Chat's down because, New Year. Or something. Just wanted to ask if you watched Ain't Seen Nothing Like This after last stream. Wait, what? Just wanted to ask if you watched Ain't Seen Nothing Like This. I don't know what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Did I miss something? I think I missed something? You forgot to link it? Huh? Oh, with copy- oh, okay, I see. I didn't know what you were referring to for a second. Well, I guess that answers you, no, I haven't seen it yet. I guess I will after. Okay, you know what the problem is with her right now is that she looks too anthro. She looks like an anthro bunny. It's not exactly the feeling I am trying to go for here. She does not need to be anthro bunny. Let's see if I can fix this up a little. First of all, the eyes are off-centered. That's better. Her cheek needs to go inward a little. This needs to be a little higher. There we go. Yeah, that's looking a little too animal, and then this is looking a little bit more human. Yeah, I had to switch the style a little. There we go. You can do it, you just have to, you have to add, like, highlights and things to show the planes of the face. Like... You need to show the planes of the face, otherwise the face itself looks too long. Let me try it this way. A little bit thinner. That's not what I'm after. Oh, come on. And now, gotta get started on concept art for your story. Okay. Have a great week and great stream. Alright, take care and stay creative. Thank you, Trion. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Let's try doing something like this. I'm trying to not make it look like it's from a, it looks so American. This mouth shape looks so American. Or like Western cartoon, it doesn't feel anime. I think it's also her face proportion. She has a much lower face proportion. She has a much rounder face. She looks a lot younger, I think, so that makes a big difference right there. And let's see if I can... Mouths are just notoriously really hard. And they're so simple, so in that simplicity, you can mess it up really easily. You know? What tool are you using to change proportions? I'm using a liquify tool So liquefy, if I make it really large, I can move pieces around. So for example, if I wanted the ear to be shifted a little, I could do something like that. Then I don't have to repaint it. Maybe it just needs to be a little higher. And I need to still adjust it to look less weird. I don't know why, but anime mouths are just legitimately really difficult. And then it also changes the chin proportion and everything. It's not it at all. Okay. Maybe something like that works a little bit better. And I think I have her leaning over a little bit too much. So let me adjust that with liquefy again. That makes a big difference. And then I'll sort of shift her around a little. And can I make her a little bit? Yeah, look at the difference there. Probably don't want to do it too much. Especially not with the eyes. Yeah, you can see it really well there, I think. So liquefy helps a lot in sort of making sure you don't make those mistakes. Or fixing them if you do. And then let's see if I can... Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. No art background here? I actually learned about Liquify tool yesterday and I'm still amazed. It's really helpful, yeah, for sure. Alright. Yeah, no, Liquify tool is an absolute game changer. Especially even if I just need to, like, you know, make the chin a little pointier or something. Or just swap things around. It makes a big difference. Definitely recommend everybody use Liquify tool. Even if you just need to, like, move the hair a little bit so it looks more appropriate. Sometimes I use so many of these tools that I'm like, I would be so lost if I couldn't use these again. Why does it remind you of the Sasuke face meme? I don't know, but I think that means I failed. If it reminds you of the Sasuke face meme, that's a bad sign. Do I need to... Alright, maybe that. Maybe it's just a little bit of the eye. It might have just been the eye. Yeah, okay. That might be better. It just has a similar art style? Oh, okay. Well, you know, I didn't spend the entire first half of the stream complaining about my art style or anything. Alright, hopefully the little liquefy change is slightly better. Just realized the highlights aren't lined up correctly. Let me fix that. Alright. Well, now you can sort of see, like, different approaches and different times and speeds and things to working. Different levels here. I think I also forgot that she also has earrings. Now that you mentioned regarding tools, if you had to go back to pen and paper, would you struggle, or would you be able to overcome your dependency on the tools? I would probably struggle. If I know the subject enough, it's probably okay, but if I don't know the subject and I can't, like, shift things around easily, I'd probably struggle, yeah. It's one of the reasons that I probably, will not be breaking away from doing traditional clay, either. Yeah, the magic circle I was using before, there you go. So it's kind of just like, you know, what your goal is, how fast you're trying to work, what you're aiming for, and things like that. If you just need, like, a quick sketch, you can do that just using the raw color itself. If you want something a little bit more refined, you would probably do a little bit of a rough outline sketch first, etc., etc. Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up there. I think we were able to do a decent amount of work here. So I will send this over to the peoples who these belong to. I'll post these later. I'll probably, turn the Chongyue one into a speed paint, and maybe rope 2, why not? I could always make a quicker one. But with that being said, I think Saturday, I believe, we start Ideal City, which should be a lot of fun. And we'll see how it goes from there. Alright. I don't know what I was even talking about the majority of the time here, but hey, we got some pieces done, so that's good. Alright. If you ever want to talk about art-related stuff, we have Creative Cafe in the Discord. Definitely consider joining. There's also an Arknights channel. Just make sure to keep things spoiler-free past Act 1. There's threads for anything that you want to talk that is spoiler-related, but if you ever want to just talk art, you can ask in Starlight Chat, if it's about what we did on stream. If it's general art stuff, ask in Creative Cafe. I'm happy to chit-chat with you guys about art-related things and stuff like that. And, well, I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you may be in the world or the many worlds beyond. Thank you so much, and all the best.